Right, we are live. Hey guys, how's it going? Welcome back to the Kiwi Lads channel. We are back for a massive day of international rugby. The Pacific Nations Cup has just got underway. I'm very excited. As you can tell, we've got 6 games of rugby that we are covering on the channel today. The first of which is Australia A taking on Samoa for the very first match of the Pacific Nations Cup. Like I mentioned, but do let me know who you think will be victorious in this contest. Samoa, they've got a lot of debuts here, but also Australia A got quite a few ex-Wallabies slotting into the mix as well. But you can see the emotion on the face straight away of Samoan players as they get the opportunity. Hi, says Amelia. Welcome in. I hope you are doing well. And also Neti is here as well. And as there goes Samoa. It looks like a beautiful afternoon in Suva, Fiji, which is absolutely awesome news. I see big Alamana Matanga might be able to get himself over the try line here. And hey, Hamish sees it Brandon there as well. I hope you're doing well, mate. And I hope you are excited for a lot of these Samoan debuts, such as Lolagi Vizinia, that we are going to get to see here as well. Lots of rugby today, says No Mum, there certainly is, and up the Aussies. And there as well, says Amelia. Now Jack Lamb, the big man, getting rearing to go here for the Samoans. And we know that they're going to bring the fight to Australia A, and they will have to make sure that they're on their A game. Jack Lamb, he is in tears, the emotion playing for Samoa. And we will show the starting lineups for you guys who haven't seen them already, so you know exactly who has made their way out onto the field. But this is the Australia A side that has made their way to Fiji. Matt Given, Billy Pollard, and Tom Robinson in the front row. Then Siru Uru and Ryan Smith, the locks. Tim Anstey, Fraser McWright, and Will Harris as the loose forward trio. Ryan Lonergan captains the side and starts at number 19. Ed Mitt at 10, who had a very good season for the Waratahs throughout Super Rugby Pacific. In the centres, it is Hamish Stewart and Lalakai Feketi, Jock Gamble, Noah Kwanetawasi, and then Reece Hodge slotting in at fullback. This is a Samoan side that is going to be taken on. And also, what does Flow Rugby get you? Does it get top 14? I'm not too sure, but I have heard terrible things about Flow Rugby in terms of them not really showing all of the games that they say that they are. So just be very wary with Flow Rugby for it. And also Rugby Galore today, and I'm loving it, says Amelia, and up the Aussies. Says Amelia there as well. Yeah, it's going to be a fantastic, fantastic day of rugby, including Australia versus England, Springboks versus Wales, and New Zealand. They will be taking on Ireland. And who's going to win between New Zealand or Ireland, New Zealand, Wales, and Springboks? Argentina versus Scotland, and Wallabies versus England. We did actually do a predictions video. I do recommend checking out that, but we have got our little previews of each match that are coming out slowly throughout the day as well. It is going to be Seula Lamb and Michael Alalatoa in the front row. Then from there, Slade and Vui there for the locks. Olajuwon Noah, Alamana Matanga, and Lee slots in at number 8. Eritara Enery gets a massive opportunity here for Samoa on debut. Rodney Iona on his outside. And then it will be D'Angelo Leola Naria Fama'i slotting in as the centres. Then Lolagi Vizinia on debut. Nathan Awong didn't get much opportunity throughout the regular season, or actually it's Nigel Awong, sorry. And then it is Danny Tawala at fullback. We have got, I know one of the Aussies says Novmum. Really? Is that Reece Hodge, I assume, possibly? If you do just know the singular one, and also trucking down under Hamish, how are you, mate? I'm doing sensationally. That sounds very, very happy, doesn't it? But at the end of the day, we've got 6 games of international rugby back to back to back. And they're all going to be just as big as the other ones. I mean, I was looking through the results, or looking through the fixtures. Australia versus England sticks out as a massive clash. New Zealand versus Ireland, of course. Then you've also got Springboks versus Wales, if there wasn't enough rugby. Fiji played Tonga, so a Pacific Island clash. And then also to close it out, you've got Scotland-Argentina, which is a game that could easily go either way. But I see currently Australia A Samoa aren't the only game taking place now. It is USA versus the French Barbarians actually also taking place as well. And I made one only. Sees it Brandon there for his thumbnails. And now Samoa, they are currently doing the haka, getting fired up for this contest that they have got. And the monumental challenge ahead of them, face it off against Australia A. They are underdogs for this fixture, but they don't play like underdogs normally, Samoa. They play like a side that have come to play. And that is the haka done. We are now ready to go. The Pacific Nations Cup just about to get underway. Let's go Samoa. Says Obi there as well. And also, and I make one only, says Brandon. And yes, it says Novmum. So I would say if we're looking out for certain players in this matchup, it's certainly going to be The Samoan side, I'm going to say Lolagi Vizinia, even though he's on debut. I feel like that is a very good choice to say for someone who will be able to get themselves a try. For Australia A, Reece Hodge is really going to have to lead from the front. Is Premier Sports any good? I might buy it with a VPN. Does it have top 14? Oh, Premier Sports, I want to say, does have the top 14, but I would definitely try out the free trial first and see whether or not it does work well with a VPN, because I know that sometimes it does slow down massively if you're from a different country and you've got that VPN on. So it depends on your Wi-Fi connection of whether or not it runs relatively smoothly for yourself as well. And let's go England by 21-19, but now just about to get underway for the Pacific Nations Cup. Michael Alatoa been playing for Leinster and the URC. Will be disappointed that they didn't make it further in the competition. Hamish Stewart been playing for the Reds in Super Rugby, and he is excited to go Samoa to kick this one off for the Pacific Nations Cup. And we are now underway in Suva, Fiji, taken by Ryan Lonergan inside of his own 22. Good touch finder, and does manage to put it into touch. No quick throw taken by Danny Tawala. Now, a lot of these guys actually do play for Hawke's Bay in the Bunnings NBC, which is quite an interesting combo, because that's Danny Tawala, Naria Fama'i, I believe, is also there. Lolagi Vizinia, Eritara Inari. I want to say that Alamanda Matanga might also be a Hawke's Bay boy, but that might be... where does Alamanda Matanga play? He might actually be somewhere else. Andy North Island, it's a good tackle made by Tane Emmett, an advantage. Goes the way of Samoa. D'Angelo Leula loses his footing. Now waiting for this ball. Eritara Inari gets it out of there. Rodney Iona with the wide sling and pass. Now down the wing, the big man, Nigel Awong, tries to bump off a tackle 50 metres out. More Brandon is now more Brandon Gaming. There's Brandon David now. Kicked high from Rodney Iona. 5 phases in a row. Looking almost for the 50-22. It's got a curve into touch, but I believe it was taken back. And initially we are actually going back for that penalty advantage that the Samoan side did have. Now from 50 plus metres out, I don't think they'll be taking on the 3, or in fact, it's only going to be about 48, but nonetheless, you still want to try and get it to the corner. Fraser McWright disappointed with the work and the breakdown there from Australia A. And now Rodney Iona going to be kicking this one towards the corner. The thing is, I thought there would be a bigger crowd for this matchup. The stand, unless they're all on this near side, I would have thought there would be a lot more people in attendance for this Australia A versus Samoa game. It's kind of like a prelim that you get before you get into Fiji versus Tonga, which will be a massive match as well. But Fraser McWright, I believe it was tackler not releasing penalty, so he was very close to being able to get their turnover, but got it wrong. And now Samoa have got themselves a line out, and they have got a lot of Moana Pacifica players in their team as well. Samuel Slade taking a nicely. Eritara Inari now off. Rodney Iona, it's been put down in the midfield by, I believe it was the big man at number 6, Olajuwon Noah there. It is the ref for Aussie and England, a Kiwi, and then is the ref for Ireland versus ABs and Aussie. I'll have a look and see who the assigned referees are for those two competitions, while we have got another penalty to Samoa. Okay, so they're getting quite a few penalties early on in this contest. Now kicking it into touch once again, and now about 10 to 15 metres out from the line, it is going to be the Samoan line out, but currently 2 minutes 40 into this contest, and it's been all Samoa for the early stages. Olajuwon Noah just not quite able to take that one. So we have got, one moment, Australia versus England. The referee in charge of this one, it is Andrew Brace, who I believe, where is Andrew Brace from? I'm not actually too sure where Andrew Brace is from. And then for New Zealand versus Ireland, it's Jaco Piper. Hang on, Jaco Piper's doing this game. Does that mean he's flying over straight after this game? And he's going to be, I think, if that's correct, Jaco Piper is making his way from this game to New Zealand straight after this. You'd hope his flight isn't delayed. Now Tane Edmund taking it nicely for Australia, but they're going back for another advantage. And this time Samoa will have themselves a scrum feed about 5 metres out. We have got, I finished Stranger Things 4 last night. That's where I cried sad and happy tears, says Amelia, and also where you're watching the game. So I am watching it on Sky Sport 1, but I believe around the world, depending on whereabouts you are, you can actually watch it on World Rugby's YouTube channel if you're in the right country. So if you are in Australia, I want to say it's on Stan. So unfortunately, that is how a lot of Australians have to watch it. New Zealand's on Sky, But other than that, I think it is on World Rugby. So if you've got a VPN, you're sorted. And Stan Sport for Aussies, says Xavier Brown there as well. But Rodney Iona kicks it into touch. Samoa once again get the line out right. And now the rolling maul begins for this big Samoan 4-pack. It's a little bit scrappy there for a start, but now they've really straightened out the line out beautifully. Lula Lamb goes in, and it's the first try of the match. And it is Samoa who have been able to get themselves a try 4.5 minutes in, and they are already been able to get themselves their first try off this contest and the Pacific Nations Cup. Where can I stream the game? Says Tiara. Which country are you trying to watch from, Tahira? Because that will depend a little bit on whereabouts you can watch it. But I know that World Rugby, I believe, have got a couple of these games on, depending on what country you're in. It was a brilliant try for Lula Lamb, and let's go. See the Richard there as well. Brilliant start to the match for Samoa. They've had all the position for the first 5 minutes. Lula Lamb goes through, or Lala Lamb, sorry, does just go straight over the top of Tane Edmund. Does end up scoring the try as well. Netflix went down pretty much the moment Stranger Things was meant to stream, thankfully, for not too long. Says no moment from South Africa, please, says Tahira. Oh, okay, South Africa, it may be on Super Sport. If it's not on Super Sport, though, you've got a good chance of being able to watch on the World Rugby YouTube channel, if you have, or if you know whereabouts that one is. World Rugby sometimes do the live streaming for like the sevens and that kind of thing. I think that's your best bet. If not, then it's probably Super Sport that you can watch it from. But now, Lala Lamb bringing the kickback beautifully. There was Rodney Iona. And now the score is going to be 7-0 to Manu Samoa. Brilliant start to the match. And also we have got there, where is the points? Says a Richard there. It is a little bit slow adding them on, but hopefully it does end up adding it eventually. Number 10 for Australia is a pretty good player. That is Tane Edmund. And he has been doing very decently. And also, how about Samoa and New Zealand? Says Makaria. So if you're in New Zealand, I think the only option, sadly, is Sky. If you're in Samoa, though, I want to say that World Rugby might also have this game available, unless it's on Sky Sport Pacific, might be the way to watch it in the Pacific Islands. But yeah, we are going to be doing commentary for every single match of the Pacific Nations Cup. So if you can't find it anywhere, we will definitely be keeping you up to date. And also, you have to line up to change it to the score. Says Novmum. Oh, that is true. I have actually still got that one. There we go. I was actually a little bit worried because the score has still not updated to Samoa scoring the first try. And cheers, thank you. And as I says, it was Makarios. Our passes back across Taney. 6.5 minutes into this game. And 7-0 for Samoa. Nice big run from Tim Anstey. Does play for the Western Force. And the Western Force, they'll be a little bit lighter than they were at the start of the season, losing Jeremy Thrush. That's a charge down from Reece Hodges' kick. But yeah, it was Jeremy Thrush, Richard Kahui, and also Greg Holmes. 3 players going away. But Noah Kwanina-Wasi, brilliant skill, linking up with his Waratahs teammate of Will Harris. Does find the offload to Hodge. It looked flat, but they're not going to be checking it just yet. Great run forward. Offload up. Ryan Lonergan would have got it, but it was just into touch. That was brilliant from Australia A. He'll be able to try and counter from what we did see a little bit earlier on. And also, we've got there more FIFA 19 at Funny. Can you do more? So here's up Brandon there. We have got a few videos coming up in the future on the Kiwi Lads Sport. I don't believe that is one of them, though, for FIFA 19 on George's kind of cards. He sticks with a game for like a week, and then we normally switch to another one, which is why you kind of see us switch between quite a few of the, I guess, the matches. No, that wasn't a sentence. Reece Hodge, nice pass off. And also we've got there, should be called Australia B, not A. Says yes, but there. Yeah, it's interesting because they've called them Australia A, but Australia A sounds like the A team. And then you think Australia B would be the B team, but we have also got there, how is Samoa looking so far? Says Roman. So Soldiers there, or sorry, how has Samoa been looking so far? They've been looking pretty solid. They've had a lot more of the position, a little bit less in the last kind of 2 or 3 minutes. But other than that, they were able to get themselves the early try. Marcus Smith first, Quade Cooper. It's going to be fun to watch. Says Xavier around there as well. Yeah, it's going to be an awesome matchup. And alongside that, in the kind of, New Zealand matchup, you got Sexton versus Barrett. And the next match that we do get to see is Tite Tala taking on, in that backline, actually, when you think about it, Habosi, he's going to be taking on Israel Folau. So many classic matchups we're going to get to see here in the very near future. But Eritara Inori just having a little mistake there for himself. But he just slipped as he went forward. And also we have got there, who do you have winning this match? For me, I know Australia A were favourites, but Samoa cannot be taken out of this contest until maybe the later stages. But the thing is, I always say it, fitness wins games. And Samoa, because they've been playing for Moana Pacifica throughout the Super Rugby Pacific season, they've got a lot more fitness than they would have had if this match was just kind of like an off-the-cuff random matchup taking place as the Pacific Nations Cup. So it's awesome to see that they are going to be available for pretty much a full 80 minutes, I want to say. It will be interesting to see if they do end up going the full 80, though, but it's a nice run forward now. Samoa sitting only a few metres out from the line. Ryan Lonergan now passes across to Tim Anstey and also rate Frank Lamani highly. See Xavier Brown, and yeah, it's going to be awesome seeing him go head-to-head with Solotane Takaloa. And that matchup still available for Australia here. I'm just going to call them Australia. I feel like everyone knows that they are kind of Australia, but they've just got a few other players scattered throughout there now. Around the side, Lalakai Faketi. Nice run forward, Lonergan. And the breakdown working hard now, trying to go across once again now, 5 metres out from the line. And also wants to be timed out one, that then I can time out. Do you think it's going to be a good one? And the outside is Brandon. Now 10 metres out from the line, Seru Uru. Now once again driving, Ryan Lonergan waiting for this one at the back. Passes off to Reece Hodge. Fraser McWright. They're very close at the moment, Australia, to being able to get their first try of this match up to 10 phases now. Greg Holmes is not playing in this match. It's Tom Robinson, in fact, his Western Force teammate at number 3. Now Lonergan goes back. Good tackle made on Matt Gibbon, driven backwards, and also USA beating the French Barbarians. And who's Australia A coach? Oh, I'm not actually too sure who Australia A have signed for their coach for this match, because that's the thing. Other than the Pacific Nations Cup, I don't know whether or not we've got too much more of Australia A in the future. I would like to see it. That's a lot of pressure on the Lucky Fizinier. And it has gone into touch. And now on the halfway line, it is going to be Australia's ball. See what they can do with it. But it was good work initially from Australia A, getting close to the line, but just not quite able to rake their way through. One moment, we all go like this. Just want to make sure that my scoreboard is behaving. If I go like this, like this, like this, and like this, and then if I go like that, that should all be fixed. Yep, it is. Okay. I was just making sure we had everything sorted for the match. And also, what time is it out there? Says Warrior Q. Currently, we are sitting at 1:14 p.m. So not too bad, but the last live stream that we are doing today, it is going to be starting at 7:10, I believe it is. So we've got pretty much from here on out of 20 hours. Oh, no, it's more than that, isn't it? No, about 20 more hours of being awake for international rugby. 6 matches scattered throughout the next little while, which is good news that we've got kind of little breaks in between so I can have food and everything along those lines. We'll go like that. And like that as well. There we go. It's a penalty to Australia A. And like that. There we go. We'll go like that. There we go. I got my game in full screen. That was a long task to try and get it in full screen. And also we've got the 6:14 p.m. Friday here in Oakland, Canada. Holiday weekend here. Ready for a rugby marathon, says Warrior Q. And of course, Canada playing Belgium later on this weekend. So, that's a big kick from Reece Hodge. Only 5 metres out now for Australia. 12 minutes into this contest as well. It was fed straight in from Ryan Lonergan. Now, we saw one in the Hawke's Bay game up against South Canterbury where the South Canterbury halfback literally fed it backwards. And everyone's hating on Leota. I hope he proves everyone wrong. And there's, says Xavier Brown. Is that because that's the thing. Who else were they going to have at number 6? Because you've got Valentini, you've got Pete Samu. But Samu, I want to say, might have some sort of little injury lurking, which is why he has been taken out of there. And also, hey, says Guy, welcome in, and we'll be busy watching the game itself. From the World Rugby website itself, says Sammy Souza. Okay, so the World Rugby website, do you know if it's also on YouTube, Sammy Souza, to be able to watch it? And also, California, not Canada. Canada is nice, though. Only been to Toronto, says Warrior Q. Well, I guess USA play the French Barbarians. Luckily, because there's so many games of rugby on, no matter where you are in the world, pretty much someone is playing. I think they were up 3-0 the last time that I checked. I'll see whether or not they are leading by any more at this point in time. One moment, we will go like that. And we will... Oh. Okay, my screen went dark for a second there. Is it still good? I think it is still good. Right. That was weird. Now, 14 minutes through. Jaco Pipers sounds like he's talking into a Pringles can in a tunnel, the way that his microphone's working currently. But they're saying that he's actually going to be the head ref for the next matchup between Ireland and New Zealand. So that's huge that he's got to travel from Fiji to New Zealand to then referee a game of rugby. I swear that's like a 4-hour flight. So he's pretty much going to go straight from this game over to New Zealand, do his warm-ups, and then be out on the field. And also you can do the European Sevens on today as well. Says, I'm nutty there. I might need some little break every once in a while. I do actually not know where to watch those games from. Okay, French Barbarians and USA game. It is 10 points to 7 in favour of the USA. But yeah, I'm not actually too sure where to watch the European Sevens in New Zealand. Do let me know. And as an American Samoan, I feel like the Eagles are going to get dog-walked by the Barbs. I only bet the whole paycheck on it. It says Warriors Q there. Oh, okay. Eagles are going to get dog-walked by the Barbs. I have to wait and see how it does end up going. When is that game taking place? USA. Oh, the USA French Barbarians. Sorry, I got confused because the Barbarian side this year are pretty much all French as well. And as Japan playing today, they are playing up against France. An opinion on South Africa this year. I'm looking forward to seeing what they can do in their first game. That was forward from the Australians. And now, once again, going to be a scrum feed for Samoa. But yeah, it's going to be very strange seeing the Springboks without Dwayne Vermeulen because he's been in the Springboks for so long. And now he's going to be missing one moment. We will go like that. And we will go like that as well. And also in roughly 8 hours' time, Ireland will be one up. Ireland will be one up. Oh, sorry, 1-0 up in the series. And also we have Gilly Cole said, let's go Tonga. And also the ref for the Ireland versus All Blacks is Carl Dixon. Okay, see, it says that it's Jaco Piper. So I was thinking, geez, you're not really giving him much of a chance to even rest after this game. He'd still be changing on the plane, trying to get towards the game. That is going to be another one in favour of Samoa. Another free kick, so they're going to be going down for the scrum. There's been a lot of stoppages in a row. And also as the stand... Well, tell you what, I can't read today, can I? It's the Japan versus France game on Sky, not on Stan. It's not on Sky. So I think that's just a game that because it overlaps with everything else, it does mean that it doesn't really work out that smoothly. And I reckon the ABs will be hungry for blood. And also against the Irish. But now, Editara Enery. Waiting for this ball at the back, 16 and a half minutes through. Now fed back across. It's going to be the first receiver, Rolagi Vizier, off to Danny Tuala. In fact, Danny Tuala about to join the line here and receive the ball. Now he tries to step, got a similar haircut to Caleb Clark. And also we can watch a game from South Africa. I believe it's on the World Rugby website. You might be able to watch this game depending on, I guess, whether or not there's a provider in South Africa. That's normally the best one to work on. If there's a provider, it's normally with that provider that you can watch the game. But if there's no provider for the game, then that is normally when it kind of works out a little bit better. But that one has gone into touch. And they will be going back for another penalty. Samoa have had a huge amount of penalties throughout this fixture already. And we are only 17 minutes through the match. Australia A really going to have to work on that discipline. And the later stage in the Ty Furlong is also going to be hungry for blood. Amelia, says Jack Cooney. Yeah, in the chat, I reckon the ABs will be hungry for blood against the Irish. And yeah, it's going to be interesting because it's a completely new side other than Keith Earls for the Irish. Okay, what are they deciding? They've decided that they need a ball and no one has got one. Right, Rodney Iona once again will be kicking this one for the corner. Samoa will win this game. Says Eddie, they've got a very good chance. I thought this game was Australia A versus Samoa, says Noah Rogers. It is indeed, although Australia A didn't really make much sense because Australia A sounds like the A side, whereas this would be considered the Australia B side, but it is Australia A rather than the Wallabies, which I have called the other one, just so that you can differentiate between the two. But a lot of ex-Wallabies making their way in there. And also, Kiwis can't pronounce A, so it's Osby, says I am nutty. Now, we always say A. That's normally what we say when we can't hear someone. We just go A. It's like yeah, nah. Yeah, nah tells you nothing. When a Kiwi tells you yeah, nah, you're still asking questions after that. And what's the difference between Aussie A and Aussie B? A letter. But they're also, the difference is that these guys are the guys who haven't been selected for the Wallabies, but they have still got a very good shot of making the Wallabies, to be fair, if there's any injuries or anything. And what is the Leicester fellow on the wing for New Zealand about, says Jack Cooney, leading try scorer of the competition for Super Rugby, a solid individual. His brother actually making his debut for Tonga very soon. That's a drop kick attempt. And they're going back again for another penalty to Samoa. This has been a broken record at the moment. Are all the Australia A team from Super Rugby team, says Mark. They are indeed. Every single player, a lot of Waratahs players making their way in there. And is it raining there, says Richard. Are we talking at the game or here? Because I believe both are fine at this stage. And come on, Samoa, says Noah Rogers there. And thing is, though, as an Aussie, my advice is never to anyone is never be cocky and confident against the ABs, says Amelia. But yeah, that's going to be an awesome matchup. We are covering it on the channel as well. Now, today, at the moment, for me, it is actually sunny, which is a rarity for ourselves. And can Australia select overseas players? Says I am nutty. Not for Australia A, I don't believe. I think they do actually all have to be from Australia. And I think it's a lot easier if you do take the competition of Super Rugby and just take all your players from there. And I'd rather Zebo than Ills, to be honest. Yeah, he's going to be marking up against Leicester Whainanoko. It should be a good battle on that side. It is Queensland, Australia, or in Queensland, Australia, it's raining. Says Yasmin and now passing it back across. Eritara Inori goes off to Rodney Iona. And Samoa once again going for the corner. It's the try. And it's going to be Nigel Awong. Play for the Blues throughout Super Rugby. And he has now got himself the try. Hello, Jedi Mia. Says Betty, welcome in, mate. And also Ireland 28-2. As in, like, that's the score, or as in, like, the... Oh, no, I assume that's going to be 20-something. I would assume. I was going to say, it's a yellow card to Australia A. It just goes from bad to worse. This is not ideal for them. At the minute, I won't be here for the AB's game. They're going out to watch it live. Says Paddy Wagon and All Blacks 37-30 and 28-2. You can't get 2 points in rugby. Says no, mum there. Let's go, old Moana man. Here's Richard. But Ryan Smith, he is going to be 10 minutes in the bin. This is Manu Samoa's game to lose at this point. Joe says it was Ioane, although I'm sure he would have said it with a little bit more passion than that. And also, we have got, is that an Irish joke / taunt? Says, I'm nutty. Is in like his name? His nickname's just Paddy, so I guess he's had his nickname for quite some time at this stage. So it's just, I guess, a similarity that it's when the Irish tour is also going on. But now, Rodney Iona, 1-from-1 tonight, 21 minutes through this game. Australia have not found a foot on the ground throughout the early stages. Rodney Iona firmly got his 2 feet on the ground, ready to try and line this one up. It's already 20 minutes through this match. I mean, to say 22, not 2. Here's Jack there, and also Paddy says, I am nutty, and also Paddy Wagon means Irish lockup. I see that one hit the post. So that does mean that the score is now going to be sitting at 12-0 in favour of Samoa. But Jack Lamb, he's clapping. He's very happy with the way that this match has gone. And why wouldn't he be? At the end of the day, it's just been back-to-back, almost just possession after possession. And hey, Paddy Wagon says Amelia there, and also All Blacks 38-21. And then also, nope. I mean, you didn't have to insult the guy. It was just, nope would have been easy enough. But now, Tane Edmund about to line up this one for the big old drop kick going down to the 22. And anyone who has tuned in for this game in Suva, Fiji, is certainly getting a treat with 2 early tries going the way of Samoa already. Eritara Inori fires it back to Rodney Iona in the pocket. He kicks that one straight into touch. Just outside of the 22, Australia A will have themselves a line out now. They're missing one of their jumpers here with Ryan Smith. So it does mean more than likely, I think Suru will get this ball and also go Mani Samoa. Here's King T. Yeah, as well. And they're currently, I mean, they've been playing some very good rugby. It says they're 14-0 up, but they are only actually 12-0 up in this match at this point in time. And also we have got there. It would be cool to see Samoa ranked 7th in the world, like they used to be. Their most legendary, or like they used to, their most legendary one was said to be against where they won 25-40 in 1996. I want to say it was against Australia in 1996? No, who did they beat in 1996? Let me know. In USA in the lead, 17 points to 7 against the old Fresh Barbarians players. Says Hanley, so doing very nicely so far. And also, Ireland for that matchup. I'd love to see those two sides play again, and Samoa looking good. Here's an out-of-the-box thinking Akira Ioane at number 12. That would be massive to have him. And also, anyone know any sites to watch the game? I'm desperate, says the Sumo. What country are you in, the Sumo? Because if you are in anywhere other than New Zealand, that's actually going to be called as Australia A's try. They've been able to nail it. And Fraser McWright does end up scoring himself the try. That was a little bit scrappy at times there from Samoa, but Australia getting themselves their first try of this contest. And Fraser McWright scores it. He is the vice captain of the side in New Zealand. See, unfortunately, New Zealand, have you got a VPN? If you've got a VPN, you can watch it on World Rugby's website. If you don't have a VPN, sadly, Sky is the only option that we have got. But Akira Ioane at 12 would be quite interesting. I'd love to see Akira Ioane or Ardie Savea make their way into the midfield. I feel like that will be a dangerous combo to have in the middle. And is this game on Sky? Says Noel Rogers, it is indeed. Sky Sport 1 for this match in State of Origin was good on Saturday night or Sunday night. Yeah, me and Dad actually ended up doing the live stream over on the Kiwi Lad Sport for that exciting contest. But now Reece Hodge about to line up this one. Australia A back in the contest. 5 points to 12. And let's go. Come on. Says Amelia there as well. And will you stream England versus India cricket? I will try my best, although with the amount of live streams that we have got coming up, like to do with rugby, it's going to be very tricky because we've got about, I want to say 13 or 14 hours of live streaming today just around rugby. So to fit in the cricket as well, like would be tricky. That'd probably be when I would be sleeping. And also the game is on Stan, says Jesper. So yeah, Stan in Australia, Sky in New Zealand, and then World Rugby pretty much anywhere else, I believe, is the option. And it's actually Ryan Lonergan who will be lining up the kick for this one, and he has got it over. So this score now becomes 7 points to Australia and 12 for Samoa. We have got the Ardie also says believe that. Right, what happens here? Narefamai just didn't quite get the hand on it. I actually thought he initially put it down first. So he was celebrating as if he had, but he didn't. And it was a try to Fraser McWright. And now Australia sitting 7 points to 12 down, 25 minutes through. Nicely taken by Siru Uru. Was almost taken in the end by Lolagi Vizania, but he's done well to protect him as he came down. Ryan Lonergan across to Robinson. And that's the thing. Robertson and a few of these other Western Force and Waratahs players probably didn't expect to get an opportunity to make their way through to the Australian side in a competition at international level. It's Australia A, but it's still a massive occasion. They're still wearing the Wallabies kit. It's a good bump off on Reece Hodge by his opposite number, Danny Tuala. Now going back, Rodney Iona. Nice skip pass from Fritzley off to Nigel Awong, the try scorer from early on in the contest. And like I mentioned, he didn't get a huge amount of time to play for the Blues. And the reason for that is because when you hear the names in that Blues backline, Mark Talia, Caleb Clark, Tuivasa-Sheck, Ioane, Bryce Heem, AJ Lamb, there's not really too many opportunities for a guy who hasn't had a huge amount of game time in the past. And also I played with Joey Carberry, Gene de Villiers, Devon Williams. Who am I? Irish. No, maybe not. Devon Williams. That's actually, hang on. Gene de Villiers. I'd assume you're South African. That's going to be a great run from D'Angelo Leula. And he scored the try there. And Samoa get themselves another. You're watching the Warriors versus Tigers tomorrow. We are actually hoping to stream that on the Kiwi Lad Sport. And what location do I need for the game on World Rugby? I believe anywhere apart from New Zealand and Australia. So if you are in Ireland, for instance, or anywhere like that, I believe it is available on World Rugby to be able to watch. So I do recommend giving that a go, seeing if it worked through AFL live stream. Says Tiger Kings. We have been looking at it as a possible option on the Kiwi Lad Sport channel in the future. That's and I'm a fan of Bowden, but Richie can't look past him, my bros. Says believe that. And yeah, having both of those guys in the All Black squad, it's going to be a tough one to decide who gets the starting lineup each week. Warriors will lose again. They suck, says Patty, but we are going to be watching it possibly on the channel. And the clue is Japan. Oh, is it Michael Leach? Or Jack Cornelison? Wimpy van der Vault? Who we got? Unless you're talking about a player who plays in Japan, such as Malcolm Marks or Peter Steph-Toy, maybe. Might be that guy. Is it Peter Steph-Toy? And Peter Renato for the Warriors says, believed that there were rumours going around that he might have been joining at one point. Same with Geordie Barrett. It seems to be that a few of the All Blacks have considered switching to leg. Nice shot from Rodney Iona straight down the middle. And now the score is going to be 19 points to 7 and no Will Jordan until third test. Says Shane A. So, yeah, a bit of a hit to not have Will Jordan there for the All Blacks. But the good news is they've still got Geordie Barrett. Didn't go to the NRL, which means that they've got a decent opportunity of still being able to beat the Irish. It's going to be so tough, though. I think I predicted that the Irish would win by 3. Damien Dialende. Should have got that, shouldn't I? I pretty much listed every player that I could think of. Oh, that's actually poor from me, because when you think about it, Munster, Joey Carberry, Damien Dialende, that's not good from Danny Tawala. And now it is going to be in the hands of Mark Nawakwanewasi, and also mine's Henry Tuolangi and Brian Lima. Says Mark, then who do you guys reckon is the greatest Samoan rugby players? I mean, those two that you've listed are right up there. Anytime I think of Samoan rugby back in the good old days, I think of Brian Lima, though. And Henry Tuolangi, I mean, he was a beast in his own right, wasn't he? But yeah, I'll probably go Brian Lima. And also, he's saying Ireland will win. Says Betty, I'm not saying they will win. I'm just not saying they will lose either, because they're a very tough side, Ireland, and completely different lineup to what we saw up against the Māori All Blacks. And All Blacks build up live on Sky Sport from 6 p.m, says Shane Hayes. Yeah, but I think we are starting at about 6:45. We won't quite be starting that early, but we have got the next game that we are covering on the channel at 2:55 p.m, and that will be the matchup between Fiji and Tonga, and can't wait to watch Ireland get smashed. Says Matt Wilson there. And yeah, it's going to be exciting. Like, either way, no matter how the results go on, it's going to be a good matchup between the two sides. With 19 points to 7, Samoa having a brilliant start to this contest. They were $4 underdogs. I remember when Brian Lima tackled Jonah Lomu, and then you forget where they are playing. They are playing at Eden Park, but it is still going to be one of those ones that the Aussies almost got above us at Eden Park not too long ago. So we've got to remember there's still a good chance for Ireland until the end of the game. Everyone's in a game of rugby, but that's going to be kicked behind to Lolagi Vizinia and going back for the penalty now to Australia. And also we have got there, where do you go if you have VPN? So if you've got a VPN, you could probably set yourself to, I guess, Ireland, the UK, the US, where else? Maybe Canada, just pretty much wherever you want to go on holiday, I guess, is your best option there. And also I'm going to try and stay up all night because I won't wake up at 7 to watch the game, says Jack there. And also, is it Australia A or B? It's interesting. The scoreboard says B. The team sheet says A. So it is Australia A, but Australia A also sounds like the top side. But I'm kind of calling it Australia compared to the Wallabies, who are playing later on against England, if that makes sense. But it's pretty much the Australia side of players who were good in Super Rugby but didn't make it into the Wallabies. Kenny Alatubo is a big loss for Australia, says yes, but he certainly is. He'd be massive Tongan Thor in a scrum, and also just running with the ball. He runs down the wing like he's on the wing. And Warriors will never win a championship. Will never win a championship and never will. I'll put my money on that. Says Spider making subs, says more cake there. Welcome in, mate. Hope you're doing well. And also, g'day, Hamish. You're pulling a triple shift today, mate. Good on you, says Warriors fan. Yeah, we've got plenty of rugby coming up. We have got this game, which we are currently 31 minutes through. Then we are going to be doing Fiji versus Tonga, sitting at it will be 3:25 that we are starting that live stream. Then after that one, we've got the All Blacks versus Ireland starting at 6:45. Then after that one, we've got 9:45, and that is going to be Wallabies taking on England. Then we're doing the Springboks versus Wales, followed by the last matchup that has taken place, and that is going to be Argentina versus Scotland. So a big game of international rugby for Kitty. Should have been selected for the Wallabies, says Dwayne. Yeah, he's a talented player. I know that they went with Len Ikatel, but I would have thought he would probably be kind of that next option at 13. And I miss Fusitua. Says believe that. And also Auckland Saturday, All Blacks today. Yes, they certainly are. And Siki are Samoa. Says Johnny Blades, welcome in. Hope you are doing well. What's the difference between Australia A versus B and any country's rugby A and B team? Says Mark. It's a great question because it's very confusing the way that they've got it. Because for me, Australia A sounds like the international team, if that makes sense. Whereas Australia B sounds like they are like the next kind of team in line. So, like, I would do what Argentina do and have it as an Australian 15, because at least that way you kind of know that it's like a 15-man side that aren't the international team, because they're actually taking on Georgia, the Argentina 15, and it's quite easy to follow for that way. But Australia A and B, like, I would always consider the international team as the A side, and then the next team, the B side, if that makes sense. But I mean, there's still a lot of Wallabies in this team, so they could certainly be the A side if they wanted to be. But Samoa currently showing that they are possibly the A side in this contest. And also, would you like to see AFL teams based in New Zealand? I don't know whether or not we've got the stadiums and the fields to kind of compensate it. It would be quite cool to see, though. And which rugby player scored the most tries at the 2019 Rugby World Cup? Says Jack. Was that Chisel and Colby? Did he have the most tries, or did he just have, I guess, what you call the most important try when you did end up stepping around Owen Farrell? Was it Chisel or was it Makazole Mapimpi? Mapimpi scored quite a few tries throughout the contest. New Zealand, they had a couple try scorers in their own right. That's a tricky one. I'm terrible with stats normally when I'm trying to think back at them. Do you have an Insta? We have actually got the Kiwi Lads Insta. It is _Kiwi_Lads. So be sure to check that out. Currently, USA, they are leading their match 17 points to 7. Josh Adams, actually. I see. Where did Wales finish in the World Cup? Because the fact that they weren't in the final, the semi-final, I think they were in the quarterfinals, though, weren't they? So the fact that he was the top try scorer in the competition, even though he missed out on quite a few of those extra games, pretty massive. For ANZ Stadium would be okay as an AFL ground, and also there's no such thing as an A or B team. The team you put up as the team, you lose, no excuse, says Spider Mick. Yeah, although they have been called Australia A for this contest as the only exception to that rule, as the Australia Wallabies, I guess you call them, they are going to be playing later on up against England. And also they played a few AFL games in New Zealand, says Amelia. And also Izzy Folau changed his name for the Ikali Tahi team, and also Siali Piatau, Charlestown, Malakai Whekatawa to Matausi, says Marco Vodapola. Yeah, it's going to be exciting seeing those guys in action. It was Joshua Adams from Wales, and there's also All McDonald's. Wait, All McDonald's? Where did the All McDonald's go? Oh, McLean Park. Okay, that makes sense. But Australia A get themselves a penalty. Currently 33 minutes through this game. Illegal wheeling against Samoa there. Michael Alalato, he's been doing a lot of scrummaging for Leinster. I feel for the Welsh. They're up against the Wolves with this one. That Bok forward pack, how formidable. And what about France versus Japan? That is taking place at 6 p.m. I think France take that one. And also, what time is the match between Japan versus France? That is at 6 p.m. New Zealand time, that is, I should mention. And yeah, it should be an exciting contest. We don't actually get to watch it here in New Zealand or pretty much anywhere in the Southern Hemisphere. They seem to not have that game available, which kind of sucks because it would be a good matchup. France have gone with the strong side. Japan, you never quite count out the Japanese in a match of rugby. Samoa, they've given away 3 of the last 5 penalties, which is something they'll be slightly disappointed about. But Siruuru now trying to drive his way forward a little bit further, breaking off the back. It is in the hands of Billy Pollard. And this is looking well set for Australia A. This could be a close contest. Definitely if Australia A can get themselves over the try line. It's gone down, though. Ryan Lonergan passes back to Stewart. Now quick hands. It's bounced past to Nawa Kwanetawasi. Puts it down. Danny Tuala also juggling it. It's on Stan's ball. Oh, okay, so they have actually got the option in Australia. Which team has had the longest losing streak in the Rugby Championship? Bonus, you can name the amount of games that they lost. Ooh. See, my brain wants to say Argentina straight away. And the losing streak, I feel like it's not going to be a huge number, but it's not going to be a small number either, if that makes sense. So I'm going to say Argentina, and their longest losing streak was 11. We'll go with that. And St Kilda versus Carlton at Sky Stadium in 2015 is the last AFL game played in New Zealand. Says Amelia, and let's go Southern Hemisphere teams for the first game win. Says Marco Vonapola. And yeah, there are a massive amount of North versus South contests taking place today. We've got the first of which being, I guess you could say that it is New Zealand versus Ireland, probably Australia, says Roman Soldiers there. That's the thing. They did have a rough patch at one stage, but it's whether or not they were able to be beaten by Argentina on repeated basis. Because, I mean, Argentina have 15 games close. Okay. What year was that, Jack? And how's the crowd looking? It's actually not as large as I thought it would be for the crowd for this matchup. I thought Samoa would have intrigued a lot more of the local Fijians to make their way to the ground, but I believe that game between Fiji and Tonga is going to be absolutely huge and probably a sellout. And I'm looking forward to seeing that one take place because, I mean, at the end of the day, you get to see those Tongan internationals, Malakai Fekitoa, Israel Folau, Charles Piatel, all making their debuts for Tonga. And then alongside that, it is going to be a very strong Fiji inside. You don't actually get to see Joshua Tuisova, but instead we will be seeing Vanaya Habosi make his debut for Fiji. But Samoa hanging on to this one. It's a loose pass, a bit scrappy for that back line. And now because of it, 36 minutes in, they have got themselves another opportunity to throw this ball in Australia A. And also, how can I watch this, says Jono. It depends on the country that you're in. Which country are you in, Jono? And I will try my best to help you out. And also, what was the last team beside the Crusaders that won Super Rugby? Do we count the Super Rugby Trans-Tasman competition? Because if we do, it was the Blues. If not, it was a little bit earlier on. And also, Mapimpi has the most 2019 tries in the World Cup. And also, we have got Wainoi Radradra. I want to say either injury or commitment to the Bristol Bears, but I'd like to think the Bristol Bears would have freed him up for international duty. So it must be some sort of injury in there for Semi Radradra to not be playing, because they've got, like I mentioned, they've got Joshua Tuisova. I think they've got Nkosi as well, his brother. So it would be massive seeing both of those guys out there decider at Suncorp, says Ether, and also New Zealand. So unfortunately, New Zealand, unless you've got a VPN, the only option to watch is on Sky Sport 1. But if you have got a VPN, if you set yourself to a random location around the world, you will be able to watch it on World Rugby's YouTube channel. So yeah, anyone outside of New Zealand, that is your best bet to be able to watch this contest. My best idea to make the Samoan team experienced, as they were used to, is make them do a long rugby tour of all top countries, whether they lose or not. They would gain experience, says Mark. Yeah, last time we saw Samoa in action was July last year, so it's almost been a full 365 days since we have seen Samoa in action. They were going to be taking on the Barbarians, and that would have been an awesome contest. That was in November, and it is not on Stan. And there as well, says Heath, or is it not on Stan? It is on Stan in Australia, but if you haven't got Stan or Sky, then your only other option is World Rugby with a VPN. And the Maroons played crap in the second half. Says Heath, yeah, it just went downhill. Me and Dad actually did the commentary for that match. And where in the world is Salisi Rayasi? It's a great question. I thought he would have made his way into one of these sides, but I think he's been kind of jockeying for the All Blacks, which is why he has decided that he is not going to play for any Pacific Island nations yet. He's going to wait a little bit longer. And no Semi, no Tuisova, not for this match. And they've still got a strong side now. Fraser McWright driving his way forward on World Rugby Geo, blocking me from numerous countries. How about Romania? I am nutty. Try Romania, because I think Seb can normally watch the games on World Rugby. Nice run forward for Jock Campbell. Tries to find the offload. There was no one on the outside, though. Alamanda Matanga's put the ball down, and they are now going back for another scrum. There have been quite a few mistakes. Also, no Levi Amoa. OMG, that's criminal, says Marco Votapolo, and the Samoa team is looking really good. They are. They started this match brilliantly, and it seems like they are going to continue playing in a very, I guess you could call it an aggressive manner, because they're going for the corner rather than going for the 3-point many times over. But that looks like some sort of injury, maybe for, I want to say that it is Salela Lamb, but only 39 minutes gone on the clock. But they are saying that it is halftime between these two sides. So it is going to be 19 points to 7 at halftime. Samoa doing brilliantly. Who you got for Springboks against Wales? And will win the series, and by how much for the series win, says Austin. For me, I think South Africa win at 3-0 for the series, that is, not the match. And I think I predicted that they were going to win it by about 17 points. And I think that's the thing. Wales, they've got some good players in there, but I still see South Africa really running hard at them and making it tricky. To me, the legend Marco Vanapola. There, as I says, Marco Vanapola, and also they ended the half at 39 minutes, didn't it? They did indeed, which was a bit weird, but I guess we're at halftime now in this contest. 19 points to 7, and who has the most tries in the Six Nations history with 26. 26. It's not Ronan O'Gara, is it? Is it Ronan O'Gara? No. I'm trying to think of guys who have scored a lot in the past, and Ronan O'Gara, don't know whether or not he has got the absolute most. It's kind of also who's been around for the longest in that competition, because you got a decent chance in that one. And also I had a game where the ref was 10 minutes late, says Moorcake. Wait, like as in your age group rugby, I assume that is, because that's not ideal. Did you guys just have to wait around till he did end up showing up? And also we have got the yes, says I am nutty. And also we have got the no way, says John O'Dio. Yeah, and also said Samoa haven't got any ex-All Blacks like Julian Savia, but to be fair to the chairman of Rugby Samoa is a corrupt politician, just lost the election, says Dwayne there. And it's pretty awesome seeing the debuts that they have been able to get for this contest. You got Eritare Inori, Lulagi Vizinia. The future is bright for Samoan rugby as long as they keep on putting money into developing it, because they're at the World Cup now. And if they can keep on playing the way that they are here, like, be pretty impressive. And also we were good there. Is it actually in there? Oh, Brian O'Driscoll rather than O'Gara. I got the wrong O. And then it's got rugby, and he's short in the half, but we won 43-0, says Ethan. Also, Moses took me to Mount Eden last night in my dream. He showed me Auckland City. I'm only see from the Mount Eden, so not allowed to walk it or walk on it. ABs by 60, says Spider-Man. And also we have got the Ash Splash. Says Marco Vanapola. Ash Splash. What is Ash Splash other than very hard to say? Marco Vanapola. Ash Splash. My tongue doesn't like that. It wants to go spiller. Ash Splash. My tongue's too big. Chris Ashton. I see. And also best try scorer in the Rugby World Cup 2019, Josh Adams, says it was Graham. And also Moana Pacific and European-based teams or players playing dividends for Samoa. Same benefits for Tonga too, from the best of both hemispheres anyways, says Sammy Souza. And yeah, it's awesome to see the Tongan lineup that they've got. The Fijian lineup as well has got some international talent stacking it well and truly. Looking at the benches for this matchup, ladies and gentlemen, we have got Faliti Kaitu, Harry Hoppert, also Archer Holes, Hugh Sinclair, Langy Gleeson, James Tuttle, Hudson Crichton, and then also it will be Dylan Pitch. And the question is, when was the last time we had three men on the bench with the first name starting with H? And then even Samoa have got two names starting with H as well. H is a very popular name in this matchup, or popular initial letter. Rainuia going to be there for Samoa. Koala and Fipulea, or Fipulai, I believe it is, sorry, who is there at number 18. Theo McFarlane, Henry Time Stowers, Jack Lamb, Jonathan Tamatena, and Henry Taifu. And the good news for Samoa is they've gone with that 6-2 split, which could be very handy in the later stages of this match. I don't think halftime will be too long throughout these two sides. I think it's pretty much going to be the Pacific Island competition. It just manages to keep itself rolling forward. So I think we will get to see the action back in a very short moment. Also, Mala also says it was Sam Bockerman, mate. I hope you are doing well. It's me, Marco. I'm currently at the fried chicken store in Sydney, lad. And also 23-14, USA winning. Says I am nutty, but the position actually more in favour of Australia A by the end of that half. 52%, territory 64%, and the time in the opposition 22, sitting at 4 minutes and 4 seconds. So you'd have to say Samoa being ahead the way that they are, with as many handling errors as they had, is incredibly impressive. And they will be looking to continue that. And also how many Lions players or Irish players were in the 2021 Irish team? I'll say about 10. Yeah, I think about 10. They had quite a few in the forwards, I believe. Backline-wise, I don't think there was a huge amount in the backline. Robbie Henshaw is one I can think of straight away. Who else do we have? Ringrose might have snuck in there, did he? Did they have Johnny Sexton? He didn't really play much. A crazy first half, says Tahira. Yeah, very impressive one from Samoa, that is for sure. And by the way, hello from South Africa, says Austin Van Heerden and there as well. So do let me know, mate, scoreline for the match between South Africa and Wales. What is your prediction? Do let me know. And also, is Australia considered a Tier 1 team in World Rugby? If Samoa beat Australia, will this be considered a win against a Tier 1 team in a long time? Or the first win against a Tier 1 team in a long time, or no? I don't believe so. I think because they're kind of a makeshift team that Australia A, it doesn't count, but it should because they've played extremely well in 9, but can you name them all? Says Jack there. Oh, tell you what, 10 wasn't a bad shout, was it? So I'm going to say, wait, was Johnny Sexton injured? Not too sure whether or not he was injured for the British and Irish Lions. No, I don't believe he was, though, but they brought in Marcus Smith, didn't they? So does Sexton count is my big question, Jack? Because they also had a few of those forwards. You know, you had Jack Conan, Ian Henderson, I think, was another one who was in there. Robbie Henshaw, like I mentioned. Did James Lowe make it into the side? I can't even remember the British and Irish Lions store. I feel like it was ages ago, but it wasn't really. And also we have Guillermo Billy getting his chest waxed by Farrell. Says Marco Votobolo in position is one thing, but converting them into points is another. In the A team's case, says Sammy Souza. And also you play for Tonga next World Cup. I heard Manu say this is his last World Cup with England, says 31 Titan. And also South Africa got, I'd say, at least 48-7 in morning, gents, watching from Cape Town, says Matthew. So welcome in, mate. I hope you are doing brilliantly. Oh, very early morning for yourself, Matthew, like 3:52 a.m. or something along those lines, I believe. Bundy Aki, another player who wasn't there. Who else did Ireland have? I mean, Tyke Furlong, of course, in your front row. I can't think of too many others. It's weird. Like, you know all of them, but then when you have to think of them, you actually forget about them, if that makes sense. And also the Mano is a better place. Thanks to Fast Uncle Tulapa, available monies. And all the available monies. And also 2:52 a.m. currently. And also we have got there, is he still chairman for Rugby Samoa and A. Everyone, let's go ABs tonight. And I should mention we have got a huge amount of rugby that we are going to be covering on the channel today. We have got not just this game, the next game that we are covering, it is going to be Tonga versus Fiji. And actually, I do see there earlier on, Graham has asked for the score prediction. I think Fiji take it, even though Tonga have got a very good side now with those three big internationals coming back in the back line. I think it's still going to be a Fijian win by about 10 points or somewhere around there. And also, we have got who will win Australia versus England and ABs versus Ireland. It was a league match, but the teams are the union players. Oh, it's a good question. I would say it would still go in a very similar manner. I was saying, let's go to the ABs. Says Marco Vanapola, and also, fell asleep earlier than usual. Says Matthew. Oh, so you've kind of managed to get your sleep schedule in check for the rugby. Awesome to hear that. That's the thing. I know that from when I woke up, I've got, about a 21-hour day. So that is why I decided that it wouldn't be a bad idea to, I guess, strategically time the time that I wake up. That was a weird sentence. But the thing is, I went to sleep too late as well. I woke up at I probably went to sleep at about 7 or so New Zealand time, and then woke up at 12:30 ready to go for the day. So I got 5.5 hours sleep, which probably was my least strategic play of the day. Is this live right now? It certainly is. Currently sitting halftime in this matchup. Samoa leading 19 points, 2-7 Furlong, Kelleher, Byrne, Aki, Henderson, Conan, Murray, Henshaw, Sexton, if that counts. And as I says, Jack, and wait, is this like halftime or something? Says John, it is indeed. So currently these two sides, Samoa have put in a very good shift for that first half. Say Lala Lam scoring the first try of the match. Then it was Nigel Awong, and then one more try coming the way of Samoa in the later stages of the half. And then alongside that, I should also mention the try for Fraser McWright for Australia A. And also we have got Dwayne, I say Dwayne, but is it just Dwayne or is it Dwayne? Do let me know whether or not you like an E on the end, Dwayne, or whether you prefer just Dwayne. Because is it Dwayne E? Maybe it's 2 E's at the end. And also, is it live right now? It is, although sadly due to licensing, we're unable to show match footage or audio. So I do apologize about that. And also, I woke up this morning at 6:50 a.m. thinking I had overslept, then realized it was Saturday. Says no, Mum. Did you end up going back to sleep after that? No, Mum, or did you end up getting up at 6:50? Because that is early. That is for sure. And also, yes, Pokemon says Box Dundies. And there's and also, hey, what's up, my people? Says Marco Vanapola. Welcome in, mate. Wait, no, sorry. It was too crazy as it. And Tesla, that's such a reflex. Like, as soon as I see someone say, welcome or hey, like, my brain just says straight away, see how they're doing, hope they are doing well. And I was like, my name is Dwayne, but family add the E at the end. Okay, so would you prefer Dwayne or Dwayne? Probably not said like Dwayne, but like Dwayne. Which one would you prefer? And also 3 a.m. in Ireland. Don't want to sleep in case I sleep in because I know I won't wake up for it like last time, says Jack. But the good news is you can pretty much watch us all the way through other than about an hour in between that we won't be live on the channel. So, yeah, if you do need something to try and keep you awake, hopefully we will be able to help you out in the process. And also, we have got any idea where I can watch it live for free. It is on the World Rugby YouTube channel, or sorry, not World Rugby YouTube channel, World Rugby website if you are in certain countries. If not, you will need a VPN to be able to lock yourself in to a different place. But if you have got a VPN, you set it to somewhere crazy like Romania or some random European country, you should be able to watch it on World Rugby's website. And also, Dwayne says Dwayne. I almost says Dwayne there, but Dwayne, I will go with Dwayne. We'll shake on that. And also, no live broadcast, no problem. There's always the stream. Hamish to keep things entertaining, says Sammy Souza. And yeah, we've got 6 live streams today that we are going to be doing on the channel. But the second half now back underway. And Jez Pro says, Buddy Moores, no worries at all, mate. And yeah, hopefully you are able to get it to work. And you are able to watch this game. And I don't know what to do because I'm going to stay up all night tomorrow as well to watch UFC, says Jack. That's the problem. Weekends at the moment are that stacked. You have no idea when to sleep. I'm the same. Like, I'm probably going to get like 5 hours sleep, and then I'll be getting up for the Warriors versus Tigers, and also as well a rugby website working for anyone. If not, it's my VPN. Which VPN do you use? I'm nutty. Do let me know. That's a good kick in behind. Rodney Iona just manages to stop it from going into touch, and he does kick that one into touch once again. And also definitely VPN works since you can't watch it if you're in Australasia as well, at least. As well, says Sammy Souza. And also, how about Scotty B at Blind? So what do you reckon, Knox? Says Marco Vanapola. I know that a lot of people aren't happy because it's given them the flashbacks to the Rugby World Cup 2019. But as long as he keeps his discipline in check, I don't think he'll go terribly. But it's whether or not that discipline is the way that it needs to be. Because the All Blacks up against Ireland, we know that they're going to really, really push them. And how many of the European-based players are back in the Samoa side, says MJ Does Life. I will quickly show you the lineup that Samoa have gone with for this contest. So you've got a few players from overseas. Olajuwon Noah, he's actually been playing for the Sharks, I believe, in the URC, or maybe actually the Curry Cup. He's been having a little bit more of a performance. The whole back line, though, is all from pretty much Moana Pacifica, with the exception of just the one name, which is Nigel Awong, who was playing for the Blues. So it's pretty awesome that so many Moana Pacifica players have made their way in. But the good news is, if you're not seeing an international play in this game, more than likely they will get to play in the next game. And that will be, I want to say Samoa play Fiji next, which is a pretty massive clash. All right, and I'm looking forward to the replay after this. So here's Sammy Souza there, and it depends on how well rugby are geo-blocking. It's going to be the penalty now, this time to Australia A, Samoa actually get themselves the penalty. 42 minutes into this contest, and Siru Uru is the man who has been penalised for obstruction. And also, I'm going to try sleep now. High risk, high rewards. If I wake up, says Jack. The good news is, if you've got an alarm on your phone, just make sure that you set about 6 alarms. Because by about the 4th one, you'll get sick of having to turn them off, and then you'll want to get up anyway. So, like, the best thing to do is set like 6 alarms. Maybe sleep through the first one if you're really keen, but don't get in the habit of setting them as like the snooze, because or else then you end up snoozing all day. I did that yesterday, and I heavily regret it. I was supposed to get up at 11:30. But because I was just tired and lazy, I guess you call it, it was probably my one lazy day that I've had for YouTube-wise. And I just pretty much set the alarm for 11:30. Then I set it for 1. Then I set it for 3. Then I set it for 5. Then I got up at 5. And then by then, I had to stay up till like 7 a.m. to get everything done that I was going to get done throughout the day. Nigel Awong, close to the touchline. Nicely done. Just keeping in the field of play. Billy Pollard trying to drive him over the touchline, going back across. Will now be Louis at number 5 for this match. Nice short pass. This is looking good for Samoa. And like someone mentioned, the fact that it's pretty much made up of all the players from Super Rugby is making it even more impressive that they're playing. And also, what's the weather condition out there in Suva? Any red cards or yellow cards yet? How are you, Hamish? Says Billy. I mean, I'm doing very well, first of all. 1 yellow card did end up going the way of Ryan Smith earlier on in the match, but he's now back out on the park, and weather's looking absolutely beautiful at the moment. The sun is out. Hopefully there's no rain at all. We get to see some awesome rugby being played today. I reckon Samoa and Mario Bees could play another test at the moment, says it was Richard. I hope that they really increase the amount of rugby that Samoa and Tonga have in the next little while before the World Cup, because that would be pretty much the best thing for their World Cup journey, because Tonga, they've got their game coming up against either Hong Kong, South Korea, or Malaysia. More than likely it will be Hong Kong though. And with those extra stocks that they have got from overseas competitions, I think they've got a good chance of making it to the World Cup. But it's not just about getting to the World Cup. It's about making sure that you put in a good performance when you get there. And the best way to do that is to give them more games. That's why I love the fact that we've got a Pacific Nations Cup, because we get to see Tonga, Samoa, Fiji all really stretch their legs. And it's, I guess, the best way to improve is just playing rugby and just use Colombian rugby spirit to stay away. Make sure to stay in touch as well, says I Am Nutty, and also stay awake, says I Am Nutty there. And I reckon Māori All Blacks should be in this tournament over Australia A, to be honest. Yeah, a lot of people wanted to see it. I think the only thing that really stopped it was the fact that they did have their Irish matches taking place as well. But I would have loved to see a Māori All Blacks side in this contest, and also alongside that, maybe add a side from the Cook Islands, something like that. Just give them an opportunity, or a combined side from other Pacific Island nations. You know, get some players from Solomon Islands, Cook Islands, Tuvalu, Nauru, Palu, anyone who plays rugby, put them in a side and give them a crack, just to help improve the rugby game. Like, at the end of the day, if you're a young guy in the Cook Islands, talking like 10 years old, and you watch someone from the Cook Islands playing international rugby in a competition, that's just going to inspire you to try and get there eventually. But not seeing anyone from the Cook Islands, knowing that they've missed out on the World Cup as well, like, you're going to go down a little bit in terms of your hopes. And also Tonga will beat Hong Kong by 100 and go Manu and at the jet as well. And also why Samoa in the Pacific Nations Cup, but they are already in the Rugby World Cup. Pretty much it is all down to, same as Fiji, they're already in the Cup as well. This isn't a qualifying matchup. Their one is going to be coming in very, very soon. And also, Hamish, do you look at yourself as a minion? As in like a minion, like one of Despicable Me, or like a minion as in something else? Because I have got some glasses that make me look a little bit like a minion. But I haven't got the impression or the impersonation of a minion down yet, unfortunately. I can't find me glasses, unfortunately. They're hiding. There they are. I mean, these aren't quite minion glasses, but they ain't a mile off. You know, I just need to paint myself yellow and get some overalls, and I'm good to go. And, of course, this is when my mum would walk in the room. Hey, Mum. Nice. How you going? Just doing some rugby, aren't we? No, I couldn't see a thing. That's the thing. Like, I feel like I've got that comfortable with looking weird in the lounge. Like, I've dressed as Harry Potter, dressed as Santa. Like, my mum's just like, yeah, that's what he does now. Lalagi Vision, yeah, nice run forward. After the halfway line now, Samoa. It's a turnover for Fraser McWright, though. And now Noah Kwanito-Wasi looking on that short side, 50 metres out. Fraser McWright passes back across to Hamish Stewart, and also has Tonga made it to the Rugby World Cup? Yet not quite. But they have got their matchup coming up about 20 days' time that they are going to be going head-to-head with either, probably Hong Kong, though. It's probably going to be Hong Kong, and also you can already picture Pacific Nation Championship Six Nations if you chuck in Australia A and the Māori along with these teams, as well as the Cook Island, Fiji, and Western Samoa and Tonga. Yeah, it would be absolutely monumental for Pacific Rugby. And it would be just awesome to see Australia A playing this weekend, says Mr. Billy. So the Australia side, they are taking on England a little bit later on. I'm not talking about the Yellow Monster. It's about your strength, Hamish. Okay, well, I don't have a lot of that. So that's a bit unfortunate for me. And also, this is the team that did not make the Australia team, says Richard. There it is indeed. But now it's kicked in behind from Australia. The in-goal area is not that huge, but that one is dribbled inside of the in-goal area. Nigel Awong goes across to Danny Tualu, does put the ball down, and pretty much a Wallabies B team is what the Aussie A side is. And there's our SMSOs, and also, yes, England, or Australia will take England tonight. It's going to be a massive matchup. We are covering it on the channel. We may even have a George for that one. And also, what is your prediction for the rest of the weekend's game, says MJ Does Life. We have actually done a video on the channel. It did come up earlier on this morning, and we predict every single game for this weekend in a short preview as well. And what we're going to be doing is a few of the matches, we are actually going to be putting our previews on the main channel as the matches are kind of coming along. So if you haven't already seen that video, be sure to check it out after this live stream. It's about 40 minutes long. It's quite a long one, but we did go in depth with a few of the bits of information for this match. So Australia A is a Wallabies B, pretty much this one. And also pretty much a Wallabies B team is what the Aussie A side is. And also, thank you. We'll check out for the video thank you. We'll go check for the video, says MJ Does Life. But yeah, we mentioned about all of those matches. I also put timestamps there, so it's nice and easy to follow through. And also, we have that for real trash thought. Samoa would do another upset like 2013. See the big lead there. And also, Wallabies versus England game prediction, says Knowledge for lyrics. I went absolutely huge for that one. And the reason I went the way that I did is mainly because I know it's going to be close, but I wasn't sure what way it was going to go. I actually said England by 3, but I'm actually regretting that now. I think Australia should be able to take that one as the stadium full crowd. Not yet, but I'm hoping it will be for Fiji versus Tonga. It looks a little bit empty currently for this matchup. Ryan Lonergan passes across now. Hamish Stewart, nice spin from the big man Will Harris. He had a brilliant Super Rugby Pacific at the start of the season, but then kind of went quiet for the Waratahs in the second half. Now around the side, Jock Campbell plays for the Reds, and it's a great tackle from Danny Tuala. Forces him into touch. And also, can you send us the link? Says Lovey, depends on what country you're in, Lovey, but you may be able to watch it on World Rugby's website. So I do recommend checking out that first of all, see whether or not it is available. But yeah, depending on what country you're in, sometimes you can watch these games for free on World Rugby, but sometimes, sadly, it doesn't quite let you. And also, Wallabies 28-35. Says Morcake there, Miss Manu Tuolangi. Yeah, it's a shame that he's had so many injuries throughout his career, because it's the thing. It's probably the one thing that's really stop-started his momentum. But Jack Lamb now on the field. That is for Olajuwon Noah. Jack Lamb, the big man from Moana Pacifica. I love saying that a lot of these guys were in Moana Pacifica because, it's just awesome that they've been able to find their way into Super Rugby, and it's given them all that confidence to be able to play well for Samoa in the competition as well. But currently 30 minutes left of this contest. Should mention our next game that we are covering on the channel will be taking place in an hour and 20 minutes time. That is Fiji versus Tonga, and we will be live on the channel for that game as well. Should be an exciting one. That one is nowhere near straight for Samoa, but it's been stolen by Pollard. Now Mick Wright goes off to Stewart, 22 metres out from the line now for the Wallabies A side. Ryan Lonergan passes back across to Robinson. Now quickly recycled off to Tane Edmund. Research goes for the grubber. It's going to sit up for Noah Kwanetawasi. It's been bumped out of his hands once again. The thing about rugby is when the Tuolangi legacy is over, it's over. Gonna miss the Tuolangi brothers. Says Richard there. And how many years until Pacific teams make it to the Super Rugby finals like Argentina, says I'm nutty. For me, I'd give them finals as in like the final or the top 8, because top 8 I'd give them like 1 or 2 years, to be honest. They've been looking very solid. Yes, they lost a majority of their games, but some of those games were pretty close. Moana Pacifica and the Fiji and Dry. If we're talking like just the final though, I'd say I'd give it 3 or 4 just to give them enough time to really develop, get all their youngsters in there. I know that the New Zealand under-20 side won up against the Fiji under-20 side about 74 points to 5, which wasn't quite the result that they were after. And also Argentina did it. Why does it look like ANZ Stadium is on fire in the background? It actually does, doesn't it? I think it's just my, kind of the curtain. There we go. If I move the curtain a little bit, the fire disappears. I'm like a firefighter. All I got to do is tuck that in there. Now the fire's slightly smaller, but yeah, it's just pretty much the reflection of the sun, because we don't normally live stream during the day, to be honest. We're normally nighttime streamers, and Argentina did it. Says, I'm nutty, and also come on, Manu, give the Aussie some more. And also the try. Says Xavier now. It is going to be Hamish Stewart. Offload up nicely. Ball on the outside from Lalakai Fakiti now. Will Harris does find that offload off to Jock Campbell. Ball on the outside and Lalakai Fakiti. He's going to be close now. Brilliant step. Brilliant offload up to Ryan Lonergan, the skipper. And he scored. And Australia are back in the contest. And also, there we go. And also, in famous Tuolangi family, Umu and Leicester home grounds. Says Marco Vanapola. And also, I thought it was raining, says was Richard. Nah, it's just the weirdness of my curtain. See, as you can see, it's quite sunny outside. There we go. Kind of fixed it a little bit more. And also, is available the link, another link, says Lavi. So yeah, be sure to check out worldrugby.com, I believe it is the best way of watching it. If you just type World Rugby into Google, you should be sweet. And you should be able to see whether or not it's available in the country. It says unavailable. Have you got a VPN, Lavi? Because if you haven't got a VPN, sadly, I believe it's only available in certain countries, which does suck. I feel like if it's available for some countries, it should really be available for all. even if it's a replay like 2 hours later or something along those lines, get in. Says Amelia there. Yeah, Australia now sitting on 12 points. Ryan Lonergan, he's 1 from 1 tonight. Or today, I guess I should say. And also, there's going to be a Manu parade in Auckland CBD with siren is blaring loudly at 3 a.m. As says Marco Vinabola. And also, what's another link, please? Unfortunately, that is pretty much the only one that we have got is World Rugby's YouTube channel. I can recommend checking out, I believe Stan Sports YouTube channel will end up having the highlights come out after the match is finished. That is your probably best bet of being able to see any of the action. Ryan Lonergan to try and convert his own try. It's a decent strike of the ball, but it's missed. So that will help Samoa out quite drastically because now the difference is still 7 points at 23-21 to USA over the French Barbarians. So an incredibly close fixture at the moment between those two sides. If Australia get themselves a win, that will be a pretty big one as well. They were playing in, I want to say it was Texas, because I did see that the USA rugby team actually visited the International Space Station, and they did ask the fellas in space what the weather was looking like. And also, what's another link, please? It didn't work. Says Lovey. Unfortunately, that is our only one that we do know. Where, in my opinion, Cook Island as a fourth team, at least in the Pacific Nations Cup, would help out a lot, even if they end up, as the Whipping Boy says, Sammy Sosa, exactly right. Like, at the end of the day, yes, you may end up losing by like 50 to 100 points a game, but at least you get to play those games, if that makes sense. Like, no one likes being dominated on the rugby field, of course, but if you look at where Tonga were in that match not too long ago when they were taking on the All Blacks. Now, I know that there was a completely different Tonga side. They weren't able to get their internationals in and also had quite a few other players missing, but like, they had a decent game with the Cook Islands for a start, and then Tonga ran away with it, and they won it by about 30 points. If Cook Islands get to play consistent rugby rather than just playing in their own competition, like, that will do absolute wonders for the Cook Islands, and maybe they do eventually find their way into a World Cup. Sadly, it would come at the expense of one of the other Pacific Nations teams, but it's always good to have a bit of a rivalry and competition going 54 minutes through. Nice offload from Samoa. Now D'Angelo Leula, the man who plays for Waikato in the Bunnings NPC, not too far away from getting underway. And also, really, yep, that would help the Eagles a lot in the qualifiers with Chile. Says Sammy Sosa. And yeah, that's coming up. I think it's next week, isn't it? That they have got themselves their game up against Chile in the double matchup. Wait a minute. Have they got... No, or is it Canada who are playing next? I'm going to have a quick look. It's going to be kicked in behind. It's a big kick. Australia, it's going to be Fraser McWright leading the foot race, picks it up and scores the try. It's another try. And Fraser McWright scores it. He's got 2 for this contest, and he's really playing brilliantly. Who we got? Is it Australia? Yeah, Chile versus USA in the Rugby World Cup qualifier. So it's Canada who have missed out, isn't it? If I'm not wrong, it's 2-league, and Chile A got destroyed by Scotland A. And I just say to yourself, do I feel lucky to see the game live? Well, do you, punk? I do feel lucky at the moment. Like, that's the thing. Even though I am paying a large amount for Sky subscriptions, Spark subscriptions, and all of those ones, because they're all like separate. You got to pay for Spark, you got to pay for Sky. And then I also had a Stan Sport account at one point to be able to watch more of the rugby that is happening around the world. But luckily, Sky, they have a majority of the sport over here that we are able to watch. And let's go as well. And also, Chile are in the ARC is a good example. Despite being wooden spooners, same thing can happen for the Cooks, regardless of the outcome or flogging they're getting for, or they are getting for development stake. Yeah. Like, as long as you're getting those up-and-coming players still, like, hopeful that they can have a chance. I got myself a poor man's hoodie from Kmart, says Novmum. Kmart, nothing wrong with it. Speaking of Kmart, this is a Kmart jersey. It's like $10. It's lasted like 2 years or something like that. That kick has gone over. So now the score in this game is 19-all between Australia and Samoa. Unfortunately, Samoa is slowing down big time in the second one. I want a different link, please. Says Lavi. Unfortunately, no other links other than we have got the Stan Sport YouTube channel. That is your only other option of being able to watch it. And also, you have to pay for the game, says Theron, and you do indeed, sadly, for these ones. Jonathan Tamatene is making his way onto the field, the number 22 replacement. So they've decided that something needs to change. They decided maybe halfback is where it will start. 19-all between these two sides. This is going to be a close finish by the looks of it. which is exactly what we wanted to see. Sururu, that's not what we wanted to see. He landed on his face, which even with the headgear wouldn't have felt too nice. I'd rather buy clothes from Kmart. That's been $100 for a puffer jacket, says Amelia. True that. I mean, that's the thing. Kmart, they get a bad rap for having like cheaper stuff, but you get what you pay for. And sometimes it's just as effective. Like I have some sneakers from like 6 years ago that are still all right. It's just the fact that my feet grew. That didn't quite work out for me. And now Michael Alalatoa waiting for this ball at the back. Jonathan Tamatine, another player who was playing for the Hurricanes alongside Lolagi Vizinier, then getting the opportunity for Moana Pacifica to get a big chance. And this is Australia's top squad. It is not the top squad. It's going to be playing up against England later on tonight. Langy Gleeson now also making his way onto the field. And Michael Alalatoa, another man who is getting replaced. And that is going to be for Fipolia'ai. I absolutely butchered that name. Fipolia'ai is the man who came on. And also, what is the ARC? And there as well, says Jack. So the ARC that you speak of earlier on, the ARC, it is the Argentinian Rugby Championship, I believe, if I'm not wrong, for that one. And also Go Manu, says Malua there. And also I could buy 10 T-shirts from Kmart for like $50. And USA beat the French Barbarians 26-21 with 3 minutes remaining, says Hanley now. And also we have got the I call Australia A by 9 on our Rams Rugby Club Super Brew group, says MJ Does Life. And also Shopbro for the live commentary, says Solo, no worries at all, mate. We are covering every single game of the Pacific Nations, who is leading currently. It is 19 all, even though the scoreboard does say that Australia are still on 17. They are on 19 points. So it's a very close fixture heading into the last 20 minutes of this one. And also we have got there about how much it was. So yeah, pretty much New Zealand bucks. So it is $10. So yeah, around £5, maybe even a little bit more, about £7 or something for a jersey that has lasted me like 2 years. The hoodie from Kmart are 10 times better anyways, says it was Amelia. And also we have got there Aoi Solomako, are you coming off the bench tonight? Says it was Solo. I don't know about that. I'll probably, if I came off the bench, Samoa would lose this game very badly, to be honest. It would all go wrong. But they did go with the 6-2 split, so a few extra forwards in this matchup. And now 19 all in this contest with only 20 minutes left. Go Samoa, says Mark. And also we have got that shot, Samoa. Surely you win. So we have a parade, says your dad scout. And now making a couple more changes. Henry Time Stow is making his way out there. That is for Alamana Matanga. So 2 players who played very well for Moana Pacifica. And also what's England's second division called anyway, or anywhere to watch it. I want to support Bath, but I don't want to support a team that I can't watch if they get relegated, says Xavier. So the second league, I want to say, is called the what's it called? The English Cup? No. Something along those lines. I don't think there's too many places to watch it in the Southern Hemisphere, so you probably have to look into those options of Premier Sports and those ones. I said it 1,000 times, there's no such thing as B teams or A teams. You put up as the team, and also Let's Go Samoa, and your scoreboard isn't updating like it should automatically. Yeah, it doesn't want to give. Oh, okay, there we go. Just as we mention it, it decided to give Australia the extra 2 points. And Henry Time Stow is MVP for Moana Pacifica. He had a sensational season. Was playing for the Brumbies. Moana Pacifica came a knocking, and he certainly ended up making the most of his opportunity. Now getting into that Samoa side, excited to see Vinaya Haborsi play. And he is going to be just around the corner and play a video, says Ricky. Sadly, due to licensing, we're unable to show match footage, but I can recommend where you can watch the game. It is on World Rugby YouTube channel, or also World Rugby website, I believe is your best choice. And also not broadcast second division in UK outside local channels. So I'm not seeing how many minutes left. Currently, we have got 18 minutes left in this contest. The scrum feed for Australia. And Ryan Lonergan got this one 25 minutes out from, or 25 meters out from the line, and they win the penalty and the process as well. And also literally tie. It is indeed currently sitting 19 all between these two sides. 18 minutes left. It could be anyone's game. I'd have to say Australia have had the better of the second half. Maybe the fatigue starting to set in for Samoa. It's looking like a decent day in Fiji, and great commentary, says your dad scout. And also Limanu, Samoa, Limalo, Fai. Hopefully I've said that correctly, Mark. So I do apologise if I did get that slightly wrong. But now penalties conceded: 8 against Australia A, 6 against Samoa, which actually isn't a huge number for this contest. And classic 2-half game here. Yeah, it's definitely Samoa's first half and Australia A now. They have been able to take the momentum back. It's going to be nicely taken by the number 19, Hugh Sinclair, now passing across to Langy Gleeson. Charging hard. Samoa trying to get the turnover in the breakdown for Liti Kaitu. Quick hands from Tane Edmund. It's a loose ball. Nicely done by the young winger, Nigel Awong, now close to the touchline. Somehow keeping himself in the field of play was Andrew Tuala. And I was like, what link are you doing? I am watching it on Sky Sport 1. And I was like, where's George today? I think he's actually going to be joining me for the later live stream, Australia versus England. I think he is going to be coming in for possibly. I was like, hang in. Says Ricky there, and crowd starting to build, says Xavier. Yeah, it's going to be a massive one when we get to see Fiji versus Tonga in only around an hour and 8 minutes time. Should be exciting. That ref lost the pendant from his necklace. Old WGF says it was Tahira, and also George Live in the Wops says Spider-Mac, and also I heard that it was a drama with you, BKR Sports. Sorry, done work out between you two, says Ask Man. Although that's the thing, I didn't know about the drama, but we were going to have a catch up. He actually messaged me after some time of not catching up, and he was going to say that he's going to clear some air. So I guess we're going to find out at some stage what happened. And young wing Nigel Awong is like the oldest. Yeah, but Nigel Awong, he's still young at heart, isn't he? And good effort with your pronunciation of the Samoa names, Decal, bro. Says Solo. And yeah, there is certainly a lot of practice that has to go in, because some of these names did not roll off the tongue too nicely when I first started saying them. It's going to be now Fraser McWright after Lalakai Fakiri helped set up that try earlier on of Ryan Lonergan. Now the back line for them. Jock Campbell kicks it in mind, and also he looks so young, says Richard. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, his age, like, it's literally the case of age is just a number, because that man looks like he's just come out of high school and he's now playing for Samoa. Now Tane Edmund kicks it downfield, and also they are leaving the best for last. And also, why does BKR Sports stop talking to you? I have no idea. And also Jay Hayes, I heard, was the person to blame, says Ask Man. I wouldn't have known that. Like, that's the thing. Jay Hayes has been on both of our live streams, so I don't know whether or not that's something to do with it. And also, where can I watch it at? It is on World Rugby's website that you can catch it. I want to show the game on Nare. Says it was marked. Sadly, due to licensing, if we show any match footage or audio, we get taken straight off YouTube. But I will mention it is on the World Rugby website if you do want to watch it. And also, a good question. I figured BKR Sport was busy with other things, hence the lack of collaborations these days. And didn't even know of any drama whatsoever, says Sammy Souza. But yeah, I can say straight away, there wasn't any like drama on our side that I knew of, if that makes sense. But he did end up blocking us on Instagram for like a good 6 months. So I don't know what happened between the last podcast that we did and the next thing. And also show the game, our Whelp game as well. And there it says Mark, sadly, due to licensing, like I mentioned, we would get taken straight off YouTube. And he plays flanker too, says Richard there. 3 hours to the All Blacks game. And yeah, it's not too far away at all. And it's on TV1 Live, says Mark there, for an option of this matchup, which does mean that the game between Fiji and also Tonga should be live. And how to pronounce Fepuliai. Fepuli. Is that R or A? Fepuliai. 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 Hopefully I've said that not too badly. Else he probably just didn't mean to block you, says Xavier. No, he did mean to block me, because he said about how he had blocked me in like our messages recently. And also we have got there R-A. R-A. Or A or R. It's A, isn't it? And yep, nearly, says Richard. So it is Fepuliai. Fepuliai. Hopefully that's not too far off. And also you can't, says Novman for showing the game. And Fikatau Falau and Piatel starting for Tonga. Man, this should be exciting to watch. And good on them, boys. For going back home. And Fepuliai. Fepuliai. Maybe. Get in there slowly, hopefully. Yeah. And also, so blocked you for no reason. I assume he had a reason for doing so. I just never got to find out what it was. Literally the letter E. Oh, E. So Fepuliai. And perfect as well, says Ginzu. And the other is going to be a little bit forward, I believe, down the wing. And they are going to be going back now for Samoa's scrum feet. Still 13 minutes left. And yep, just add and add an E as an English at the end, says Richard. So how much time in the game? There is still another 12 and a half minutes left, and damn, Amish sense trouble in town. I got to go. See you tonight when I play Kakita as well. See you later, mate. And also Fapuliae. 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 See, this is the thing. Like, you guys, like, this is pretty much what happens every time I'm off a live stream trying to work out how to pronounce names. Like, I probably spend a good 30 minutes in a row just going through a side trying to make them roll off the tongue, going to end in a draw. That would be an interesting way. You know, also Fapuliae. It says Fa'amisosiona. Hopefully I've said that correctly. And also you plastic. Interesting one. And Fapuliae says Sammy Sosa, and also doing good, bro. Don't worry about it, says Aviel there as well. And also come on Samoa, put it together, says Ricky. And fair not far. Fair not far. So it's far. Wait, fair. Oh, fair pui. Fair puleae. Fair puiali. Also, I don't know how commentators know all the names of the players, says Richard there. Yeah, I don't know how it sticks in my brain. Like, sometimes the pronunciations are a bit off, but normally, like, remembering names-wise, I don't do too bad. Now, 67 and a half minutes through, and also Marcus Smith versus Kawhi. Said that very weird. Quay Cooper. Can't wait as well, says Abby Brown. It's going to be an awesome one. Thank you very much for that donation, mate. Hugely appreciated. We have got a long day of rugby ahead of us. And there's going to be not just this game, but also Fiji versus Tonga, New Zealand versus Ireland, Australia versus England, South Africa versus Wales, and Scotland versus Argentina. And there's a World Rugby clips of commentators being taught the pronunciation. Says, I am nutty there. I just came back. Who's got the ball now, says Mark. So it is a scrum feed for Australia A, only a few metres out from their 22. It's a big push from Samoa, though, and a stolen by Jonathan Tamatine. And he goes, oh, did he drop it? No, he didn't. Or did he? No, he didn't. He didn't drop it, and Samoa scored the try. Thought for a second he put it down, and I bet Ken Laban is the commentator here. Usually when Willie lose there as well, says Sammy Sosa, and also Quaid says solo. And there as well, but that is a try for Samoa. Brilliant time to score it. Jonathan Tamatine. I mentioned how big of a push it was from Samoa. And it just pops out the back. Ryan Lonergan, he just wasn't ready for it. It popped out to the side. It was good skill initially from, I think it was Tim Anstey who tried to keep it in there, but then it was the try to Samoa. Jonathan Tamatine scores it. And now with 11 minutes left, Samoa taking the lead. And JT is the best ever Samoan half there ever. And Fatuali'i. And also rugby even tonight, lads. Bottoms up, says Abel. Yeah, it's going to be an absolutely awesome day of rugby. This is the first of 6 games that we are going to be covering. And also Solo Afaluco. Soso is my family name as well. And also, I can't find it on World Rugby, says Pump. Have you got a VPN, Pump? Because if you do, you have got a better chance of being able to see it. And also hopefully Samoa gets another try to secure the win, says your dads. And also, that's the beauty of Moana Pacifica making a good investment, as with Tonga next up. And who's not everything is for free as well, says Mark. Yeah, sadly, due to the licensing, like if we show match footage or audio, we get taken straight off YouTube for 3 months, which is a huge amount of time. Like that pretty much means that we miss all of the rugby championship. We miss all international rugby, and it's pretty much we lose our job for 3 months if we show even 1 second of audio or footage. So I do apologize for not being able to show it. But yeah, they are very strict. And go Samoa, says Malua, and also hi, says Nettie. And there, also buy some 2 cents level mic plus camera equipment of its 2 cents will be inferior equipment and be broken. Kai Tai. There go Samoa, says Brandon Rose, and go. Says Jack Dan Sky off a 7th day of unlimited stream for $20. Not bad, says Abiel. So that would be a pretty decent choice for watching these games. Sky Sport now, I think they've also got that 7-day free trial that you might be able to see. And also, this might be a dumb question. Are drop goals allowed in sevens rugby? I usually see it in sevens or in 15s at any time, but not sevens. So they are allowed. It's just normally teams kind of decide against it. It's like how you can actually kick for the posts if you get a penalty. Just no one really considers it. And also, yep, last thing we want to say, Mish, on a 3-month vacation for copyright violation. See Sammy Sosa there, and for Amalorsi Samoa. And there's also Samoa. They seem to have quite the attendance starting to build in this contest, although a lot more Fijian fans in Suva coming ready for this match. And also, VPN doesn't work. Just tried it. What country did you go to and why the game not on TV? That's a very good question. I wish all of these games of the Pacific Nations Cup were free. At the end of the day, it's showcasing Pacific Island nations with their rugby at its finest, and we don't get to see it for everyone. And also, why isn't the scoreboard updating? It doesn't seem to like me very much. There we go. Has now updated. Sometimes it's a little bit slow. And scoreboard too slow again, says Sammy Sosa. Maybe it's like connection between Fiji and New Zealand. Probably not. It's just they are a little bit late with the updating of the US as well. And go Samoa and any free apps. Sadly, not for these ones other than the World Rugby website is your best bet. But it depends on whereabouts you are in the world for whether or not you can watch it as well. And also USA for Samoa, says Ricky. It's going to be nicely done by Fraser McWright, unable to turn it over. Those 7 phases in a row. How many minutes to go? We have still got another 8 minutes left in this contest. And Samoa, if they get one more try, they will secure themselves their first win of the Pacific Nations Cup, which will be an absolutely massive one for them. Over the ball there, Ryan Smith. He's already had a yellow card, so cannot afford to go to the bin again. And I'm in New Zealand, says Lavi. So sadly, it is only the option of Sky Sport 1. A man listening to you from Anaheim, California, says, I'm going to butcher your name. I do apologize if I get it wrong. It is Fa'amisiona. Fa'amisiona. Hopefully I've said that correctly. And there as well, but it was great to have you here. What time is it in the US currently? And also, who knows where to watch it for free, says Pump Me. I know that the best option to watch the highlights is actually Stan Sport or Sky New Zealand. Other than that, though, there's not really too many options other than the World Rugby website if you are in a certain country. And go Samoa, says Amaluelia as well. That is not straight from Australia. There have been a lot of not straight lineouts throughout this contest in Suva, but 7 minutes left. And also in Stanton, California, says Ricky there. And also we have got their cat eye. Oh, I feel like I'm going to absolutely ruin that one. And also we have got there, you pronounce Polynesian names better than any other commentator I know, says your dad Scout there. So I do appreciate that a lot. I do try very hard to make sure that I'm getting the pronunciations right, because at the end of the day, because we aren't able to show the game, like you guys aren't able to just go, okay, he said it wrong, but I can see the player that I know I know he's talking about. Whereas for this, because we're not able to show the game, like if I don't get the names right, like if I was saying random words, it makes it very tricky to try and follow. Like it's still hard to follow just the commentary anyway for you guys who can't see the game, but it is a little bit easier if the names are being said correctly. It's going to be Samoa now taking off the back. Jack Lamb, using that big size that he does possess. In fact, it's Henry Time Stowers. He's dyed his hair to look like Jack Lamb at this point. And Tuisova says Solo. And there, and Tuisova is Fiji, and he certainly is. And he is going to be going, unfortunately, not head-to-head with Tonga in the next matchup. Reece Hodge taking it nicely. So this is where the fullback needs to find some momentum. It's quite surprising that he did miss out on the Wallaby squad, but they went with Tom Banks. And now Hudson Crichton, nice ball on the inside, but it's gone straight into the hands of Samoa once again. Money Samoa trying to crash forward. It's a nice run forward from Theo McFarland, another player for Moana Pacifica throughout Super Rugby Pacific. Kick downfield from Rodney Iona, trying to get as much meterage as he can. It's going to be controlled by Reece Hodge just outside of the 22. And also, I can hear the parade starting up. Says Abiel there, and all the way from Orange County. Says Fa'amisiona. Now kick back downfield from Rodney Iona. It's gone out on the full, I thought. Okay, they've said that he was outside. So surely this is going back to the 22. And also, if we win the parades at Tahuhu in there as well, says your dad's got, and also mate Ma'a Samoa, says Pumper, let's go Samoa, and also 714 here as well. And say less. Says Abel, right. Oh, see, if you're on the line, you're all right. And I think he might have been just on the line. And also we have got there Rodney Iona, or Iona. Sorry, I probably pronounced the I too much, don't I, with Iona. Or Iona. How do I say it normally? So it's Yana. Oh, Lolagi Vizinier is bleeding. Does not look good for him at the moment. Looks like he's got a bust on the top of the head, and also he's correct, and who tried. And there says the head scout. So for Samoa, we have seen a try from Jonathan Tamatine. Also scoring a little bit earlier on was Nigel Awong. Another try coming in the very early stages of the match. And that was for Say Lala Lamb. So there's no TMO in this actually for the Pacific Nations Cup. So because of that, it means that anything that happens is pretty much just down to the referee and give them try, says Talu. And also we have got there no one beats the Tongans at partying. And it's been happening here in Suva during the Kalitahi training sesh, says Sammy Souza. But yeah, those three that I did mention. And then there is one other try and someone streaming the game with your commentary on Facebook, says Pump. Really? There you go. Welcome in everyone on Facebook, I guess. Do you know what the channel's called, Pump Me? I feel like that must be hard case because they'll be like, who is this random commentator talking over the game? Now ball across Dylan Peach. One more. And it's James Tuttle who scores the try between the sticks and the 76th. And now big opportunity there, buddy, on the streets. Angel, like at the church. And also that's why they're Wallabies. Hopefully Aussie A. Here's Sammy Souza, but that is going to be 76 minutes through this contest. James Tuttle gets himself the try. And also Pacific Nations Cup 2022. And as I says, Pump Me, I'm going to have a look. I'm famous. Not really overall. And thank you so much for announcing the game live, my brother. I appreciate it. No worries at all. And we are going to be doing every single match of the Pacific Nations Cup. So if you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel as well. I'm going to have a look. See what I can find. Videos, I guess it would be. Oh, there's actually quite a few on Facebook. I kind of want to listen to one of them to see which one I am on, but I don't want to accidentally look at it. And also, mate, I'm here from Parramatta, Sydney, Australia. So I guess, to be fair, anyone on Facebook who is watching along, be sure to also check out the Kiwi Lads on YouTube. This is our channel that we do all the commentary from, seeing as we have no association with the Facebook one. She'll mention also, yeah, Pacific Nations Cup really needs to implement a TMO in the future. And yeah, it's weird that they don't have it for Suva Fiji because I believe Super Rugby, we did end up having it, but I guess it's more of just that preseason one, or it's got a preseason feel for it. And as the Samoan side for Samoa, on the Samoan squad for Samoa, that's a nice run. Samoa now score, and Nigel Awong gets it in the 77th and a half minute. They take the lead back. Samoa, Australia, we're back to drawn for about 5 seconds. And now, before they've even added the try for Australia on my scoreboard, Samoa score again. Mate, your allegiance says, Jay, and also keep the ball in the hand, Samoa, and keep it up till the full time. Hello, the Kiwi Lads. And yeah, thanks, says Herman. No worries at all. No worries at all. And also, you chat whoever is streaming you on Facebook, JK, says Abel there. But do you know how many people are watching it? Pump Me, because I feel like that will be my best way of working out which one I am involved in, I guess. Yeah, be sure to check out the Kiwi Lads on YouTube. Got to plug myself if I'm randomly on Facebook, I guess. And also 78 minutes through. And the second half, and come on, Samoa, push it hard, baby. Yes, says it was for Sionia. That was a shocker. I didn't pronounce that very well, did I? Masiona. And Joe up the Manu says Ioani there now. Rodney Uona lining up this kick. 31 points on the ball for Samoa. And Pump Me post a link. Although I think YouTube stopped links from being posted, unfortunately. And also up the Manu says Ioani. There's go to Manu. Even though my little brother plays for USA, says Roger there as well. Currently 79 minutes through. And Rodney Iona steps up to the plate. This is an important kick. It's swirled and it's missed. So now the score is going to be 31 points to Samoa, 26 to Australia with just 1 minute left and do it. For the ancestral hero, your name's after Manu Samoa. And go to Manu, even though my little brother plays for you. Oh, who's your little brother, actually? They let me know, Roger. And also he can post it then on laptop, copy and paste it. Says it was Xavier Brown, but it was stolen by Nigel Awong. Australia trying to attack from just outside of their own 22, and it cost them dearly, as it did end up going into the hands of Nigel Awong. We're going to go like this. And we are going to go like this as well. One moment. Click on that one. I want to listen to one, but I don't know whether or not. But that is actually full time. Samoa, okay, we didn't have that last minute that they were saying that we possibly would have. But Samoa win this one, 31 points, 229. Brilliant performance. And game over, says Chris Seo as well. I'm trying to listen to myself on Facebook. No, I don't think I... Am I on Facebook? I don't think so. And I was like, Joe says Sola. But that is interesting that it did end up ending at 79 minutes. And what's the score? Says Malika, the winners of this match. And moving on to the second round, undefeated in the Pacific Nations Cup. It is Samoa, who have been able to get themselves the win. And it is Folau, halfback for the USA Sevens, along with Carlin Isles. I have to keep an eye out for him because we are actually going to be doing, anytime you want my professional advice. And I was able to manage to finish on time. And I sent you the one on Discord. Says Xavier Brown and also well done, Manu Samoa. Says Toku there. And at the chat, but unless Ryan Lonergan, the Australian captain, he'll be disappointed with how the end of this match went. Because at the end of the day, they were very close, but they're not close enough. Samoa getting themselves a win close game was indeed. And also Manu says Tim, and also the time on the TV was wrong, 1 minute slower. Says Chris Seo, yeah, it was the same for us here. And they seemed like they were just a little bit off. Oh, here comes Rodney Ioana. Does give a tap on the head to Ryan Lonergan as well. But now we have got our next match coming up in only about 45 minutes time. That will be the matchup between Fiji and Tonga. So if you are new to the channel, be sure to leave a like and subscribe because we have got plenty more coming at you guys live in the near future as well. Pacific, no. Oh, okay. I see. Are they still live? Nonetheless, I do thank you all very much for tuning in. The tries scored in this match, Nigel Awong was able to get himself 2. Also alongside that, Salela Lamb did get himself the try in the earlier stages of the match. And then there was the try for, who else scored? There was one other try, Jonathan Tamatine. And I think there was one other that I can't quite think of off the top of my head. And also Go, a cheers from Parramatta, Sydney, Australia as well, says Talui. And also we have got the congrats Samoa, says Sammy Souza. And yes, thank you so much, Samoa. And there says Farmasioni and Michael Alatoa. He'll be very impressed with that performance and go Uncle Rodney Ioana, says till the death. And there as well, yeah, brilliantly played. And also good job, boys. Manu all the way, says Skyfire. So the next game for Manu Samoa, we will quickly have a look and see exactly who they are playing next week. And that will be pretty much the same time, I believe. They are going to be playing Tonga. And that will be a 12 p.m. start time. So same as this game. In fact, no, sorry, an hour earlier next week. And that will be the game taking place. Samoa versus Tonga. And where it is being played, it is actually going to be at Churchill Park in Lautoka, which is pretty awesome. And also give me one big oofa before you go, says Bump Me. And also thanks to Kiwi Lads or the TKL Oos for the great commentary. No worries at all. And like I mentioned, we are going to be back for the next live stream in only about 45 minutes time. That will be Fiji versus Tonga. And then after that, we've also got New Zealand versus Ireland. We've got England versus Australia, South Africa versus Wales, and then Samoa, or sorry, not Samoa, Scotland. They'll be taking on Argentina. We are covering every single one of those games on the channel as well. So if you are new, be sure to leave a like and subscribe. Appreciate you, brother, and well done on the name pronunciations. Real one, says Abiel. And yeah, I do look forward to seeing you back in the near future. And thank you, sir, so much. Thank you so much, sir, for announcing the game live. Says for Amosioni, no worries at all. And we have got plenty more coming up later on today as well, like I mentioned. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, like I mentioned. Also, if you do want to help support the channel, we have got our channel membership where you can get custom emojis to use in the chat. It is that pinned comment link. Be sure to check that out as well if you would like to. But nonetheless, thank you all very much for tuning in, and I will see you all